A familiar topic was addressed at the first day of the annual two-day CEMO symposium, Hurricane Preparedness, tied to the issue of climate change and resiliency. After a year when much of the Caribbean and wider Atlantic region was pummeled by devastating storms, experts gathered to assess how to fine-tune Belize's preparedness plans.
The theme this year is on hurricane preparedness because that continues to be our major threat of a disaster. But the real objective on purpose of it is to bring together all stakeholders. We have representatives from CEMO, from our armed services, from the NGO community, from the private sector. We have representatives from our other municipalities and CEMO representatives and city council staff. And the idea is that they would come together, they would do presentations, training, capacity building, they would come up with recommendations, and they would raise public awareness on the issues of emergency management, emergency response, and in this particular case, hurricane preparedness. So that I think that the CEMO Symposium over the last 6 years have occupied a very useful space because very rarely all of our emergency management agencies come together in this kind of gathering. We have gotten tremendous support for the international community. PAHO continues to support the Taiwanese embassy. We have had support from our educational institutions represented here this morning by the University of the West Indies. So that I think the idea of having a two-day training and workshop that looks at our hurricane emergency plan, that refines the plan, that brings together stakeholders, and that provides a space where people can share their expertise and come up with recommendations, that's very beneficial.
Point-man Philip Willoughby pointed to the growth of the national response led by the National Emergency Management Organization. As the size and scope of disasters has changed, he said, so has the preparedness and response.
Climate change is here and it's real. So has hurricanes, tsunamis, fires, oil spills, mass casualties, floods, and other disasters morph are not limited to disease and terrorism, and the list may go on. But by this, I mean the latter. These disasters have changed in size, strength, and speed, and so have we all here at CEMO and NEMO. Hence the reason now for us to build climate-resilient cities, towns, and villages. Accomplishing this, can be easy by simply following the building codes, not for the sake of laws or costs, but to ensure your home, your investment can withstand earthquakes, tremors, hurricanes, hurricane-force winds, floods, and fires.
One of the Council's proudest achievements in the area of emergency management, says Bradley, is its expansion of response to natural and occasionally man-made disasters.
I can recall that our emergency preparedness plan for a hurricane is much different than 6 years ago when I first became mayor. We have including more representatives, including this morning, I signaled out the president of the Belize Association with persons with diverse abilities, because it was felt earlier on that we didn't adequately address, especially in our shelters, persons with special needs. We've taken that into consideration. We've looked at widening the dialogue so we don't only look at hurricanes. We've looked in the past at tsunamis. We've looked at fires. We have looked at serious traffic accidents, so that the CEMO Symposium over the last 6 years have raised awareness on different types of emergencies, because we want to raise attention to these things. And our fundamental point is the importance of planning, the importance of having in place proper strategies, collaboration and partnership, and the importance also of individual awareness. I mentioned this in my presentation, that the ultimate aim is that we would in the public raise awareness about the individual's responsibility to make sure that they're prepared. Something as basic as having a hurricane plan in your home, knowing who will pick up your children, where will you go, stockpiling food and water, having a shelter, having radio and just basic things in terms of something like that can really ensure that we're very effective in preventing loss of life and preventing damage to property in the event of a disaster.
Aaron Humes reporting for News 5.